Thanks, brother. All right, let's do this. Cool. Thank you, Holly. Holly Bartter, ladies and gentlemen, we have today. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm so excited to talk to you. You are my first female guest.
Ooh, I'm very proud.
Awesome.
To be kicking it off.
Cool.
The lady.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Just though to finish that conversation, we're talking about glasses really, and sight and where it's good and bad and whatnot. And I actually think after getting my eyes checked and wearing glasses, I don't know if they've slowly gotten worse or weaker because I have been wearing glasses, or I'm probably just getting older. And I think
unfortunately, it's just getting older.
It's getting older.
I've heard that's the myth that your eyes get worse when you take care of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, anyhow, but Holly, welcome to my podcast. There's so many things I want to talk to you about. You, when I look at your bio and knowing you now for probably the best part of 10, 12 years around that?
Yeah, getting to at least 8 or so.
Oh,
around
eight.
that
Okay,
one.
all right. Yeah. Okay. So you're a very entrepreneurial woman, and I've seen you from taking action and executing at a PR level, which is amazing. I've seen what you can do there. Then I've seen you go onto a journey and be a GM of a company with multiple brands under or inside of that company, to then founding and having 2 of your own companies. One of which is an interesting one, which I want to get into, which is Match Smith.
Yeah.
But then there's the latest one that you founded, Touchy Skin. Cool.
Yeah.
How'd I go on that intro? Is that all right?
Portfolio career, perfect.
Beautiful.
Summed it up really nicely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. So what are you working on at the moment? Like, what's the biggest thing in front of you that you're working on right now?
I think it's balancing Match Smith and Touchy Skin. So obviously a product versus a service is so different. And with Match Smith, I had a very unique kind of journey with that, in that it snowballed very quickly. And I've never had to kind of pay for advertising for that, which was then very different going into the skincare space, which is so saturated. Right. It's a much longer play. Yeah. That was a huge passion of mine just personally. So I thought, if I'm doing a product, it's got to be skincare. But a service, I could see myself in that space of outsourcing for the corporate world. So even just how I'm working between those things has been a challenge, because a product is, it's hard. It's a difficult thing to sell to people in Australia. Even if it's a product I know is amazing, just selling that story is so different to selling the dating story. Let's
talk about Match Smith first.
Yeah.
Because that's an interesting one. It's not the usual.
Yeah.
So what's Match Smith?
So I say that I'm an online dating support service. So I'm not your dating guru. I'm not there to kind of say you're going to get this many dates and this kind of a person necessarily, but I'm really there to help people perfect and manage their profiles. And I'll also do, which is what I've been known mostly for, is to ghost match for people. So I'll actually take their accounts as them and they'll outsource that to me. So these are those corporates, which is still the level that I get the most interest in, is having me actually match for people and take that just legwork out of the equation for them.
Cool.
Yeah.
So in summary, someone in the corporate space might be too busy to put themselves into the dating world. They would contact Match Smith, and that's where yourself, your team, you'd jump on, and then you'd manage their dating profiles and basically generate leads for them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So it's such a, it's such a delicate process, and I have such a sort of small group that I often have a wait list for that level, because I want to really be able to give so much of my time and energy to personalizing that journey. But it is. It's like, here's your short list for the week. Here's some good matches, and you can take that offline.
Yes.
And then the other side of what I do is just, what does your bio look like? What photos have you got? Does it even match up with the kind of person you want to meet? I'll have a lot of people who are like, I want a long-term relationship, but all of the photos are them with a cocktail at a party. And it's not that may not align with someone, but it's what they're trying to present, and the kind of person that they're trying to meet may not actually match up. Sort of like a personal branding exercise for dating.
How did you start? Why and how did you get started?
So I started off with Luxet as one of my first startup jobs.
Yes.
And Fabiola is the founder, and she's still a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
But that was outsourcing beauty services.
Yeah.
And I just thought, how can we outsource more for people who, you know, they want a spray tan at home, but what if someone doesn't want to match? And I had friends that would say to me, couldn't you just do this for me? Couldn't you just set this up and go through these? I can't be bothered. People were getting like swipe fatigue, you know, and this was 7-8 years ago. And I thought, what if you could do this for people? And I just said, okay, I'm just going to start doing it. Let's create the story and sell it.
Wow. What's the most interesting thing you've learnt from doing that kind of business?
Most interesting thing. Look, I think it's that people are very nervous about being online. I think I have, you know, women and men like 50 plus, 40 plus. Some say they've been in relationships and now they're, you know, going online for the first time. Maybe they've been widowed. And it's a scary place for them to be. They're not sure whether they're going to get catfished. They're not sure who's real, how much time to invest, what platform to use. So there's a lot of confusion. But the biggest misconception, I think, is that people are just looking to have like hookups, whereas the majority of my clients are all like, I want a long-term committed relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because I haven't been privy to the online dating space. That sort of came just after I got together with my wife, or is now my wife. And I would have no idea about it. But so there's probably same common principles and as far as having like an online brand or like even your own personal brand, right? Like you said before, that's something that probably the first thing you look at is what do they look like? What does their brand look like?
Yeah.
What do they look like as a brand from afar or to the market? Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And photos are huge. You know, it's an unfortunate truth.
Yes.
But these apps are based on that connection. So even getting a hero photo of yourself that you love is so important. And it's hard to workshop with people to get that right, because even for, you know, men and women, the photos are different for what the opposite sex are looking for if we're talking heterosexual relationships. So eye contact is so important. But then people often have photos of them with huge groups of friends because they're like, but I want to show that I'm a social guy.
Right.
I'm like, that is great, but actually we just want to see you.
Right.
And then I think it's also getting people into the mentality of accepting that you may be seen by someone you know on a dating app, you may be seen by a professional peer, and it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Because part of it is 100% the stigma associated with meeting someone online.
Yes.
That still exists. I've had people, when they hear what I do, tell me to my face, oh, you can't meet your soulmate online.
Wow.
You know, and fully there is I met my husband, my partner at a bar or through friends.
Yeah.
That's legitimate. Online dating, if you're going for it and you're keen for it, I think people see it as it's not organic. It didn't happen in that magical way.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's getting washed out though, that persona? Because I feel like all the young people you talk to now, that's how they meet, right?
They do, but I think there's still resistance to show enthusiasm or focus when it comes to dating, even though like our partner makes such a huge difference to our life and to what it's going to look like. The idea of having someone help you with that, I think for some people it feels like a moral failing, or this needs to be something that's a natural, organic thing, whereas they'll get coaching for all other areas of their life.
Yeah.
But with dating, there's a little bit of that learning curve to have people feel comfortable that it's not a failing, it's just, I want some objective advice.
Okay, that is interesting. And okay, so now you're managing this with Touchy Skin. Tell us about Touchy Skin.
So Touchy Skin is my hypochlorous acid brand, and hypochlorous acid has been around in the market for several years, increasing in popularity in the US and in the UK. But it's just an all-round product that's great for sensitive skin, and I wanted to just market something that was not a miracle, because there are no miracles in skincare, but that was something that is a molecule our skin naturally produces. So it mimics our skin's autoimmune kind of process.
Right.
It helps to calm skin, cleanse it gently. But it's such a simple formula that just really works. It's been in wound care for almost 100 years. So in clinical settings, they will use different forms of hypochlorous acid to clean and manage wounds. And so I wanted to go with something that was trusted, but also that was just no touch. So that was a big thing for me. It had to be a mist.
Yes.
Sensitive skin doesn't need any more added kind of manipulation from cleansing tools or hands or warm water. So for me, it was like, let's go with a hero product and just try and sell that story to sensitive skin people. Yeah.
And so now your time is divided, or that's where your attention is now, is how do I divide my time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that one of your challenges? Is that like one of your biggest challenges at the moment in business?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think I wear a few hats and they're quite separate. So I'm not overlapping my Matchsmith story with Touchy Skin and vice versa. I keep those audiences very separate.
Yeah.
And, that might be something I challenge later on to kind of weave those worlds together. But yeah, that skincare founder is a very different story to what I'm doing with Matchsmith, or even kind of my career before that in operations and soft skills.
Yeah.
But it all still comes back to that story and the individual,
Yes.
and communicating something to them that connects with them.
Are you talking about somehow relating the stories between your brands, or are you talking about your personal brand and how you're seen as, say, probably the founder of Matchsmith,
Yeah.
and you're also seen as the founder of Touchy Skin, and that relationship between your personal brand and those brands?
Yeah,
Does that make
exactly.
sense?
Yeah, I don't really have a connected way of linking them all at the moment, outside of just having my little, elevator pitch or what's on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because they are such different worlds. But for me, that's always been, like, the portfolio career has been the way for me. I just couldn't ever see myself doing just one thing, which is why I think I enjoy, like, creative director roles, operations roles, GM, because you get to do so many things.
The diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really need that.
I hear you. I think it takes time too to understand the market, the persona, your brand, who you are, your personality with the market, and then how you introduce it and relate to it. It's something too that I feel like, because growing up and coming through my professional career, I had so many different things that I did, but I felt like to be seen as an authoritative figure, having too many things or people knowing you in too many things would degrade you professionally. Maybe not, but I felt like that's pressure I put on myself, and I really tried to understand and balance that perspective from a market point of view.
Yes.
And so that's something you can empathise with what I just said there. Is that?
Yeah. I mean, I think, there's this school of thought which is like focus on the one thing
Yes.
and just do that.
Yeah.
But I just can't. And I think that for me, it's the same as some people. You'll know, like, the idea of starting their own business for them is really foreign.
Yeah.
They might be quicker to say, I want to have kids and I want to start a business.
Yeah.
And so I think for other people, it's like, no, I need to be doing this. I need to be here. I need to be collaborating with these people. So I feel the pull of those projects so heavily. But yeah, I think for me, that being able to utilize my skills has helped me in so many ways. And I think it's allowed me to be exposed to the people that have become the mentors that have shaped how I work and live effectively as well.
I'm with you. Amazing. Cool. And so what about when you with the GM, what company was that for? We didn't talk,
I don't really want to mention them by name.
You don't want to mention
but I can say, a cannabis brand effectively that had both the clinic side of things, delivering to patients, as well as the pharmacy. And so that was really, jumping into a space that in a way I kind of felt like I manifested. I'd said I really would like to be learning something in medicinal cannabis. And it just worked out that this job opening came up, and very quickly it moved from project manager to GM.
Yeah.
And in that space, it's been, ad break.
You know what that was? Sorry, Holly.
That's all right.
Bloody Addis. He's got his Bluetooth hooked up to this.
It sounded kind of cool, actually. It really was.
He'll figure it out when he has no sound out there. But anyhow.
Sorry, where were we?
Yeah. Where were we? Medical cannabis.
Yes. Yeah. So that was just absolute baptism of fire into this industry, because it's changing so rapidly. Compliance is absolutely essential. So it gave me, knowledge that I just never imagined I could get over a space, and what it kind of takes to be in the market as a brand, both as a clinic and a product, as well as, what the medicinal cannabis space is like for patients. More and more people are turning from the recreational market into legalized cannabis, but there's so much. It's just a very volatile industry. So it's interesting to watch and interesting to be a part of. Yeah.
Something I did want to talk to you about actually was probably being a woman in business and like kicking ass like you are. Have you ever felt like that's been a limitation?
Honestly, no, but I have a few people to thank for that. And probably the biggest person is Louise Watts, who is the co-founder of HPC Global, who I worked with for 5 years as their operations and creative director. And she's effectively run HPC Global, which stands for High Performance Coaching. And she's done that for 20 years. She started as a ballet dancer and said, how can I bring these soft skills that I know of, presence, how to sit, how to present, to the corporate world? And that's what she started doing with a team of women. And so that was a very female-led organisation. I worked very closely with Louise and Karen, the two co-founders. But she's always kind of, what's the word? There's this underlying current of everything that they do, which is it's female-led, but it's not that kind of like, you know, rah-rah, we're all pink, girl power kind of thing, you know. So when they step in, they command respect, still in a feminine way, but they never,
and it's
they
humble.
never go ignored. Yeah.
Well, I've never felt that from you. I do feel like your approach in business is very humble. And the reason I ask you that is because you don't give off that you are, you know, for women's rights in business or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it's massive though.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, and I think I come into it I never want that to be the lead thing, you know.
Of course.
Female-led.
Yeah, of course.
Not that that isn't important. I love all those women in business kind of communities and places to be.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, bringing just your own unique energy to it, and I think not overanalyzing, you know, I'm a woman stepping into this and this is going to be, I think, so much more of it. And from how I've seen, you know, C-suite level people who have fantastic technical skills, men and women, but they sit down, they cannot talk, you know, in a stakeholder meeting, they can't present, they don't have clarity around their ideas. And so when you see that transformation, it's like it is so much about how you engage with people and how you communicate, and those soft skills even. I think that's the term now is more human skills, because soft skills kind of puts it in this box. It's like, it's a nice to have, but it's so important. It's the most important thing to try and cultivate if you can. It's great to have those hard skills, but without the soft surrounding it, you just will never get, I don't think you'll get where you need to go. And that's with dating, with starting a skincare business, with anything.
What, like as far as your personality traits go, I'm big on, have you ever done Ray Dalio's Principles in You? It's like a personal archetype test.
No, is it kind of like the INTFJ kind of things? Yeah.
Like there's so many of them out there. I think by far this is the most accurate. It is. It's by far the most accurate, and they just do such a great way of communicating it. And I'll have to share it with you.
What did yours say?
Mine?
Yeah.
So there's, how many archetypes are there? I think there's like 17 archetypes, and mine, so it gives you a primary and 2 secondaries, but then it breaks down like how you think, how you communicate, and it goes into like thinking will then break into am I a creative thinker, conceptual thinker, and it just gives you a percentage rating. And the test that it gives you almost takes about 2 hours, all right? And it can ask you the same question probably 5 different ways. So if you were to try and trick it or manipulate it, it almost gets the right answer out of you. And everyone I've got to do it, and I get everyone to do it.
Yeah.
Just can't believe how accurate the archetypes are that it gives you. And my first one is the archetype is the coach. And then one of my secondary is the quiet leader. And then the third one, what is it? I think my other secondary is the commander. And they break into their, like, so that really means nothing now unless I really brought it up and spoke about what it is. But when I read into those, I'm like, yeah, God, I see that. And my mates or colleagues that know what my report is, they're like, stop coaching me.
Yes,
like,
I don't need a coachable moment now.
But I guess where I was going with this, when you were talking before about how to manage, I see you as quite an organised person.
I like to think I am.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. And so when you were talking about, you know, one of your challenges being how do you direct your attention across multiple brands, that's where I was sort of going. I'm like, how I wanted to ask you, like, so how do you do that? Well, first of all, like, so from a personality point of view, are you an organised? Like, give me a little bit about your personality.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm a note taker, you know, so that for me is just, I just need to get it down, keep those ideas somewhere.
Yeah.
But I also don't overthink things too much. So when I get started, if it's, the website build for Touchy Skin or something, I'm just like, okay, let's just keep pushing through. And then within a week and a half or so, I'll make great strides in that. So I'm very good at focused work, and I'm very good at working on my own. And I'm very good at, which is why I've always liked, since COVID, the work from home model, because I am the person that will wake up, pull the laptop onto their lap and just go. So the less kind of barriers to starting, I think is always my thing. And so if I have a good idea, especially when it comes to Touchy Skin and the content side, I think there's a phrase now that's like, it's document, not create. Yes. So it's sort of documenting moments in your life and creating content around them. But even the idea of like, hey, every time you open TikTok, put up a post.
Yes.
So you have to create the content as much as you engage with it. So if I'm opening the app, I want to be posting something on the app at the same time. That's how I get my, scrolling time is you've got to contribute something as well.
Where did you get that from? That's really good.
I think that's just TikTok.
Is that really? It's
more TikTok. Yeah, it's just the way people are kind of talking about that consistency, and it's so rewarded. So I'm starting to see that now as like, yeah, I've just got to keep
going,
pushing out content, and that's that's the thing about this kind of fast form content as well, is that it does reward consistency, but overthinking things as well, I think is a big letting go of overthinking with a new brand.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Even like doing this podcast, it's like there's so many life lessons in it. And one of probably the biggest ones I take from doing it is not taking it too seriously and just doing it and putting it out there and just not overwhelming it and then just going, right? And that really probably talks to a lot about content creation.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's hard though, because everyone with having a brand, whether it's personal or professional brand, you really want it to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
There's this persona where it needs to be. There's so much judgment out there. You've got to get this right, or people will judge and think this. And yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that still.
Yeah, and I think, in the early Matchsmith days, I got some great, interviews on some quite major networks, and I just had to say, they could spin it any way they want to if they want to make it look negative. And thankfully that's never happened.
Yeah.
But even that, I was just like, at the end of the day, all publicity is good publicity. So just go with this and see where it goes. Yeah. And like you said, stay humble and playful. Like the biggest thing about it as well is, it's not brain surgery what I'm doing. This is meant to have a bit of fun to it and be a bit tongue in cheek, but also like I'm not coming into this as a relationship guru or a therapist or something that's saying, I can get to the root of all these things and match you with the perfect person, because there's so much scam artistry in that field. And so that was probably the point where I was like, if I'm going to do this, I want to bring a real warmth, a friendliness, and a lot of that this is something where that female energy I think helps. I think, men enjoy talking to a woman about their dating profile, and women feel safe talking to a woman about their dating profiles as well. So I think it's a win-win in that scenario.
Yeah.
Whereas there are some, not all, but some male dating coaches that have been getting a lot of heat at the moment. Yeah. If you've seen Jake Maddock online, he's one of those ones that's had, a current affair kind of chasing him down for his less than savoury, approaches with his, subscription models. But I just wanted to steer so far clear of that. Yeah.
It is interesting. I think I got a friend that's getting into like sex therapy, and I'm like, I've sort of
as a therapist or receiving therapy.
As a therapist.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was sort of like, I was thinking about it a bit, and I'm like, yeah, she'd be good at that. And I'm like, I didn't sort of feel like that could be a male driven profession. Like I don't know. Like I feel like women can talk to both sides easily. I don't know. Maybe that's just
no.
Me
I think there are some things where the optics are a little bit better.
Yeah,
it's a little bit easier.
Yeah,
to have some of those conversations.
How about AI? Like you must be now, because if it's online, it's digital, it's communication. AI is obviously helping you now, right?
Yeah. Well, I did an interview the other day. And they were sort of talking about what's next for dating apps. And I think that, AI integrating in them is really going to be the next phase of things, because it's been quite stale for a while. It's like, you swipe or you pay and you go on eHarmony or Silver Singles if you're a little bit more mature. Yeah. But there's just been nothing super new that's come out. You sort of got that Tinder model, or you've got something more formal, but I think bringing those two together, and maybe part of that is the questionnaire and the way that the apps are able to match you with people that they genuinely think can kind of connect you together. And as far as my side of things, I think it just helps sort of, me kind of keep organised across all these different clients. But I've always just been a one-woman show for Matchsmith, and I've had a lot of people email me and say, I'd love to work for you. I want to do what you do. And so I'd love to expand that team one day, but I have to feel so assured that they're going to deliver that same kind of level of service, because I think you have to walk that line between hearing someone talk about really deep personal things and then also give them objective advice, and then also know where the line is drawn that I can have to stop helping them. So if they take it offline and they're just not great in person, there's only so much I can kind of do to workshop that.
It's like intimate relationship is like obviously one of the biggest facets of your life, and you're like this catalyst for it going good or bad, right? So to give that power to someone else, to entrust them, it is a big responsibility. Same with your brand though, you know that you have a level of quality, and so everyone has to step up and know that they're ticking all those boxes every time content goes out to a client. Going through that process now, and I feel like we keep coming back to it, the simple things with, when you start a business like a startup, it's like, what's your vision statement? What's your mission statement? What are your values? And I feel like when you sort of start, I know when I did, I was like, fuck it, let's just go. Like, let's just just get the website, get the URL. Let's go. Let's get started. And that's cool. But I find more now than ever, when you have a team or the person that you need to hand something off to doesn't understand or doesn't know what you know about your brand, your offering, your values, and it's just so important to clarify them, right?
Yes.
And one of the new ones that's sort of been thrown in my face of late is standards under values. Like, so your vision, mission, values, then your standards. And this it's interesting, but as I said before, I feel like you come back to it. You keep coming back to it. You have to keep coming back and revisiting. The market changes, your products or your offering or anything. You might want to change the brand.
Yes.
And so you have to come back, revisit it. Is this still a line? Is this still us? And
And being open to that growth mindset, is something I really took into. I think you probably read that.
Yes.
The growth mindset book, but it's a great one, even though it sounds so cheesy, but it's more just how can I keep emotion out of the equation when it comes to learning? So let's just say every single, obstacle that you meet, because you will meet them.
Yes.
Every step of the way is I'm not going to have a positive or negative reaction. I'm just going to stay neutral that this is information I'm gathering. And so I think with Touchy Skin, that's been the biggest thing for me, is just every week to say, look, I'm moving the needle forward, but I'm learning and I'm not bringing emotion or sort of personal ego into this, which is really hard to do. And certainly there's times where I'm like, damn, is this going, the direction that I'm hoping? But that's the biggest thing, I think, if you can do that. And my spicy take for you, Blake, is like too many gurus and too many mentors. And I think that's been something I've seen people go wrong with. They just spend too much time talking to other people and asking their advice, for a concept or something simple in their life they're looking to change. And having confidence in yourself is the most cheesy line, but it actually is the one that at some point you also just have to say, if I feel strongly about this, I'm going to do it. Even if some people are like, well, this or that, or someone has given you some advice, if you feel strongly about it, it's better to almost make the mistakes yourself and keep moving forward. That's my take. In a world of the Gary V's and, people who just spend their lives going to conferences for that affirmation, like, am I doing the right thing? Like, what do you think about this? Who has all the answers? I don't know. And a part of it is just luck. Part of my luck with Matchsmith was just great timing and great media. So even that, I'm not someone who's like, here's the blueprint of how to get exactly what I did. Sometimes it's just, do I have a great idea and can I keep a sustained interest in this topic as well? Even if it doesn't wake me up at night with passion every second of the day.
Beautifully said. Far out. I didn't want to stop you there.
That's probably my big thing, only because I've worked so much with coaches.
Tell me about, get into that. Like that was going to be my question, is like, how did you arrive there?
So there are amazing coaches out there, truly. The women on the team that I worked with are incredible. They're worth every dollar you will pay them for an hour or a workshop of their time. And so then you see them against maybe people who are wanting to be in coach mode but are just not there in their life. Mm-hmm. Ben, who's my partner, who you know very well, always uses that, you don't want to take financial advice from someone who's broke. Yeah. And there, I think, are some people who want to be the guru before they have any kind of knowledge or experience. Yeah. So they'll come in and be like, I'm going to stop your creative blocks. I'm going to get you where you need to be mentally, $5,000 a month. And this person is in a situation in their life that they're not enjoying. Yeah. They're very disorganized, they're chaotic, and they're trying to sell someone else that dream of like, I'll get you where you need to be. Maybe that can happen, but I think for the most part, you've got to have some clarity around your own life, your own decisions. And so the women that and it really is mostly female coaches that I've worked with, but when I see them step into a room, it is about those practical tools that they can take away and build on, all those soft skills. And there are just some people that are really amazing at it because they've honed their craft, and they can say in a second, okay, this is how you speak. I can see when you're doing this, you're looking up this way to grab your thoughts from there. So just these small changes can make a huge difference. But yeah, overdoing it on the coaching front, I think people just lose their way, because then you're just taking in noise from everybody and everyone's opinion. And I'm Pinterest boarding, I'm manifesting over here, I'm doing this. Yep. Whereas the person that maybe just started with the idea 6 months ago and is just chugging along has probably made more headway than you have. Yeah. With your manifestation.
I agree. This is cool we're talking about this. It's I feel like it sort of comes in waves too, right? Like you've got to, because there's obviously something you don't know, and so then we can be mentored and you learn about Absolutely. It, but then you have to take action and apply it. And really that's where the real learning starts.
Yes.
It just gives you a bit of product knowledge, activity knowledge maybe. Yeah, don't make all of these mistakes. Do it like this, and then you have a crack, and then you've just got to get on with it. And maybe you can come back to that again, but yeah, don't get stuck out there.
Yeah, and have your core people who are like, when I run into this, I it's like, I'll speak to Blake about this, or I'll talk to Louise about this. But outside of that, just, don't assume that everyone has got great advice to give, or that everyone's advice is equally valuable to where you're trying to go.
Correct. Yeah. And even I think going down the road of what you're talking about is an action that you have to take to learn for yourself, to really come to an understanding that, fuck, I'm going to figure this out. Like, yes. I don't need anyone. I will get there. It is interesting. It's probably my personal experience with that when I was young. Gosh, I think my first Tony Robbins seminar, I was 14, because my parents did Tony Robbins, cool. Right? So I went into that, did that, and then I became fanatical, like, with his work, which I'm so grateful for. But then up until I think the age of 21, and I was actually in his seminar in A Date with Destiny that cost about $6,000. Way 20 years ago, I was 21, $6,000. It's a lot of money to do a seminar. And I was sitting there and I was like, I fucking don't need to be here. And it was just this crystal clear realization. And I just left. And I literally went on hiatus from any personal development for about 10 years. Yeah. And I was like, and I wanted to create or write my own song, so to speak. And because I felt like all I was doing was regurgitating all the shit, everyone else's shit. It wasn't actually me, because I hadn't applied it and hadn't had my own opinion. And so one of the best things I did was for a while get away from it, but it's still cool to come back in and check in on stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, don't get stuck there.
Like what you described is that exact moment where it's like, for someone who's been invested, if you've never done any personal development, dive in. Now's the time.
Yeah.
But if you're someone that has done that for a long time, you have to get to that point where you're just like, I put the books down, and I just go. And because at this point you're invested enough, you've got it all sitting in the back there.
Yeah.
But yeah, your pathway is going to be unique, and then it's like, Blake's take, Blake's voice.
That's one of my great business mentors, and I've brought it up before. His best quote, or I just said, what's your best piece of advice you can give me? And it's fail fast. It's like, yes, fail faster.
Absolutely.
And he said, gosh, if I had to go back 20 years ago and do it all again, it'd just be fail faster, fail faster,
Yeah.
fail faster. And when you really sort of dig into that and understand what that really means, it's just fucking go.
Yeah.
Just go harder, go faster, and fucking
And be okay with a business not working. Like if you're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur and you like businesses, there are women that I follow in the beauty space. Julie Schott, I think her name is. She has Starface, which is a huge, like those little stars that you cover acne with.
Right.
Huge brand in the US. And then she made another skincare line. And then she did birth control. And then she did nicotine supplement, like for getting off vaping.
Yeah.
And some of those I see just dissolve quietly. They didn't
Yeah.
hit the mark, but that doesn't stop her from continuing just to try. And
Yeah.
obviously there's costs and realities involved. But when I see that, I'm like, yeah, why not? If you just got to keep pushing these things through, but also know if it's not working, okay, the evidence isn't there. There's no proof of concept, or the market isn't hitting at this time. And don't take it personally, because I've also seen, ventures that are now taking off for people that I've worked with, that they had that idea 5 years ago and COVID hit and it couldn't have happened. And it's not that it was a bad idea, it's just that you were too early for the market to be ready for it. So yeah, keep it in your back pocket. Maybe it'll land another time. But yeah, failing fast, it's not about looking at, but I put this much time or money into it. It's like, well, you've learned a lot, package it up, see where it'll take you next. For the entrepreneur, I think that it's a helpful mindset to have if you can.
It's almost the same as dating, isn't it?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It's all the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the numbers, it'll come off for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, I get, that's a common question I get for people. It's like, well, I'm tired, I'm sick of swiping and I'm over it. And I'll say to them, dating fatigue, app fatigue is a real thing. So take some time off, switch off the app entirely, go and live your life, and then revisit and come back to it. There's no use in like exhausting yourself,
Dating app fatigue.
Yeah, like swipe fatigue.
Really?
Yeah. So people are just, I'm sick of logging on. I'm sick of this conversation petered out here. I've got to follow up with this person.
Yeah.
I suggested a coffee date, but they haven't replied. All the same things we deal with in business. I'm waiting on this email. Someone hasn't responded.
But that's
to
where
me.
you come in, right? Match me.
If I'm managing that, yes, then they don't have to worry about that. So, and that's it. Part of it is a little bit of that just mental, not quite distress, but maybe overwhelm that comes with, for busy people. If they're not on at those peak times, that's when people are chatting. And so they miss that emotional momentum and miss the chance to maybe meet up with someone. That could be a good match.
I wonder how the persona or perspective, like, because it is changing now, right? So like AI is just giving birth to a new context where it's sort of, I spoke about this with Ben. It's like it almost, you identify it and it loses value. And I wonder now if this puts more emphasis or I wonder if it'll swing, right? And come back where people, I don't know, do you think they won't sort of communicate, or they'll look at it like, it's not even real who I'm talking to now?
Oh, you think in terms of like AI prompts that people are using to
Yeah. Or say
reply?
like dating, right? Like say now, someone sends an email or proposal. I can see it.
You're looking for the M dash.
I can see the ChatGPT. And so
Yeah.
straight away I'm just like, do I even want to read that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how important is that for me to read? So it just loses value.
Yeah.
Or there's a new context now for AI text or literature. Right?
Yes.
And even like reading a book today, I think everyone might go, did they actually write that? Or did they just put in the top 10 subjects and let AI write it?
Expound on
And
the
do
rest.
I really want to waste my time reading, like, do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's here now, right? So do you think, what do you think about that as far as dating goes in the future of like people dating and these bots and things? What are your thoughts in that?
I mean, I think trust is probably going to go down a little bit further, and I think there's going to be more verification tools that apps put in to ensure that people, are themselves. There's no image generation. I think they're probably going to push back against AI enhanced photos or headshots, which are pretty common. And I've seen some clients come to me with some kind of wacky AI shots that they've had someone convince them to do for their dating profile.
Right.
But authenticity is that's the gold, isn't it? That's what you want, is to know that the person there is the real person. They're verified. They've got kind of like that little tick of, it's a genuine person. So I think they're just going to have to put more checks and balances. But yeah, I think people, just like anything, the scams are going to increase. The sophistication of romance scams is going to get more intense. So it makes sense for people to be on the alert for those things as well. It's unfortunate, but...
Yeah, you said it, authenticity. Like there is already like a a movement or a swing there. I think I can't even remember where I heard that, but like the boom in like the adventure sector, where there's this just, it's almost people rebelling against the online, and they're really now pushing into this offline sort of lifestyle because of where it's going. But like the authenticity, like even I'm going to produce, it's getting there, but a book for my kids, right? And it's so tempting to like just feed it into ChatGPT, and I have with help of some things, but I've asked it to highlight what its input is versus mine.
Yes.
And then I'm like, there's no way I can, if I'm writing this this memoir or this book or something that's supposed to have so much meaning to me, there's no way I can let that do it, right?
Yes.
And I often think, well, is my rough shorthand text, that's probably the thing that'll be of most value at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, even if there are any human errors or that kind
Correct.
of thing.
It's like if someone sends you a handwritten letter, and you get it, you go, holy shit, someone actually wrote this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I remember, back in high school, you probably, I don't know if you did it for your HSCs, but you'd put a rubber on the end of your pencil before exams to get your strength up.
Right.
And now I can be like, damn, just holding a normal pen.
Shit.
Long form writing is.
I'm flat out remembering the year when I got to write the date. I'm just like, is it 2018?
But something handwritten, absolutely.
Yeah.
So maybe you have to go ink and quill for your memoirs. Scratch it down.
Yeah, I know. I will see where that goes. But no, it's that'll be interesting, because I could imagine the weight that'd carry. I think I could. Like if I was going to spend my time talking to someone on a dating app or like that's what I wonder. And I wonder if like on the other side of it, like how much believability I'd sit there and just converse with someone with all these AI tools and things coming out.
I mean, and I have to call out the elephant in the room, which is that authenticity. I'm playing someone else, for them when they're matching. So for some people that presents an ethical kind of issue. And so for me, that's always been like, I really toe the line at, no flirtatious kind of behavior. There's a certain level of communication I'm having with them for X amount of time.
Yeah.
And because
I hand it over.
Then I hand it over.
Correct.
But I also, first of all, I don't know everything about my client's life story. I know what they want me to kind of share, but you also want to save something for when you're offline.
Yeah.
I think there's a risk, of people going onto apps for, which is a real thing, going onto apps for a confidence boost.
Right.
So there are definitely users on there who just go on when they need to feel desired, and they don't really have any plans to meet up. They just want to see, am I still, have I still got it? Am I still in the market?
Yeah.
And other people will just spend months back and forth with people messaging online. And then it sort of becomes a pen pal situation. So by the time you meet up, it's like, damn, we've talked about everything already. Where you need that initial kind of, I'm excited to dive into this in person with someone.
Yeah.
But of course, not everyone is great in written form. So I'm so conflicted, because I think AI can help someone who maybe has trouble communicating in written form what they want to say.
Right, yeah.
A lot of guys are like, I don't know what to open with. It's so hard to think of something creative, especially on apps like Bumble, where, the woman will open to them, but then they have to kind of keep that conversation going. And I think sometimes the pressure is on the man to be asking those questions. So if that can help them, and there's a prompt that comes up and says, hey, this could be something good to throw in there, that it may not be fully organic, but it might actually help that person get to the date.
Well, that's the catch-22, right?
Yeah.
Like with AI, it's it helps us in the short term, but I wonder what it looks like long term, right? Yeah. I always play it down. I look at it through our kids' eyes, because you can see as they start using technology, you can already see the patterns in kids, which is essentially us. We're just big kids, right? And it's going to be interesting, like where we don't need to recall, or we don't like those skills now. Like it really just cuts through. It's like it just takes away the need for a lot of communication skills, whether it's in text or email or whatever form it is. So it is going to be really interesting to see where that goes. But yeah. So what's next with so Match Smith? Are you looking to grow it? What do you or Touchy Skin? Like what's the plan?
So, for Touchy Skin, we got an initial kind of shipment of stock.
Yeah.
That was just quite a conservative amount, just because I wanted to say, okay, I'm not going to be that person, with 10,000 units
Yes.
in a warehouse.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's, it's a product that you also want to bottle relatively fresh. So I think for me, I just want to prove that there is that desire in the market for this kind of product at this price point. There are other brands that are doing it, but they're more expensive. And I think we provide a better kind of user experience. And then I think just continue championing the hero product, which is that zero touch cleanse and soothe mist. I think for like skincare founders, there's a real temptation to keep bringing out new products.
Yeah.
A lip balm is the thing of the year or the last few years. Anytime a brand is like, let's just roll out a lip balm in a new color.
Right.
And so I really wanted to say, let's just like have that product be the focus.
Yes.
And make some variables around the size and volume we can provide. So talking to skin clinics, talking to tattoo parlors, talking to, places that do skin needling, it's the kind of product that you can use post-treatment, post-tattoo to care for the skin and sterilize, that kind of thing. So I think just getting that knowledge up in different places. And I've got some skin clinics in Sydney and in Melbourne that have kind of picked up the product to start trialing with their customers. So really starting with like high trust again, and that same way of Match Smith, like a super high personal engagement from me. So every order, I'm writing that handwritten note as a thank you, and making sure that every single person I have a touch point with. So I'm managing all the socials, I'm engaging, I'm messaging back, I'm following those people. And what I found is that even though I've got just a small following to start, I'm seeing the repeat orders coming through. So that's how I know it's like, okay, it's creating a place in people's lives, and that's what I want to see. And it's also the how you divide your time as a founder is becoming the face of a brand is so important. And for me to scale and stay lean, it makes sense that I'm that face. So if I can be on camera, I'm doing all those videos. But of course that takes you away from other areas of the business. So even balancing that, it's like, do you want your name and face to be that brand completely? Do you want it to live on beyond you and have more of your ambassadors? Or is it important to keep telling the story? And certainly for Match Smith, I've really woven myself into that story so closely, and that's worked. So seeing how it evolves with Touchy Skin, but yeah, just continuing to build trust and credibility with that ingredient and that brand at a realistic price point. It is, people are struggling with cost of living and these luxuries like skincare, it needs to work. And I think in terms of an emotional tie, people with sensitive skin, myself included, acne, breakouts, skin issues are really deeply personal. And so I've seen that with, friends and family that have gone on Accutane journeys, and, when you have a bad skin day, it can feel, it feels superficial to say, it's like, I don't want to be seen because of this, but ultimately it's, I feel like anything on your face, if you've got, a sore mouth, it hurts. You just feel it inside your head. And so for me, I wanted something that was addressing that in a classy way, honouring sensitive skin and trying to do something in the zero touch space, because that's an area I haven't seen many people push into, because the opposite has been the case in skincare trends for the last, 5-10 years. It's like the 17-step Korean skincare method, the 7 skin methods, skin flooding, shelfies. So it's all about, I have 50 products, 10 skincare tools, and this is the latest one you need. And for sensitive skin, that is the opposite of what you normally want to be doing. And so, trying to show that I live that truth as well with my own skincare.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, that's so important. We spoke about it before, authenticity, even to the point of like, from a business point of view, sending letters and things like that, that'll connect. That is the shit that's connecting now. Like, people remember that. Yeah. And then,
And not buying followers.
Not buying followers. Oh,
yeah,
100%.
like, it's not fun to have necessarily an Instagram account that's not in the thousands. But I'm like, hey, if I have 250 people, these are 250 people that really care. And if I had 250 people in a room, I'd be really happy with that.
Yeah. It doesn't matter anymore, I don't think. Like, having followers used to be this thing, and it still does carry weight. I think someone comes over and they look at it and they go, whoa.
Yeah.
But then I think the next thing they do is they go, let me have a look at how many views they're getting.
That's it.
Right? And then I actually think it looks better if you've got lower views and your video, lower followers and your video views are through the roof, as opposed to 1 million followers oh, they're only getting 800
That's
views.
right.
Like, and then straight away.
But brands do it. I mean, every day I see a new beauty brand launch that has 14, 20, 30K followers and 1 or 2 likes. And we know it. We know it. Just like we can spot AI, we know that it's not real.
Correct.
But that the vanity numbers are still, I'm wondering when that will shift for people.
I think it is. I think it has. Yeah. I think that's what I mean. It's in the same conversation. I think people do look at the followers and just go, well, I know that's what I do. I'm like, oh, who's this brand? And then we look, yeah, okay, cool. But let's have a look down here. And then it's like, no, fuck, they're getting them, like they're averaging 500,000. They're legit.
Yeah.
Like they're creating some cool shit. They've got an audience. Maybe that's not legit as well. Maybe they're buying, video views and those types of things. But I know that's what I do. And I think the market has shifted there.
Yeah. And so if I can, the goal for both those brands really is to keep it personal.
Yeah.
To keep bringing it back to what, how I can communicate with people, and as much as I can keep super hands-on. I think for, the scaling is so important, and not trying to do everything yourself. But if you can, the value in knowing how to do every single task in your business is priceless.
Absolutely.
Even if you're, everything from labeling to doing the design to knowing how to update your website, it's so much nicer than starting out with, I've got these people managing my ads and someone else doing the website, and I just, kind of swan in between that as the founder.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of just trying to do it yourself from the ground up if you can.
I agree. I heard something along the lines once of like, that's the value of a homegrown CEO, which is basically someone starting at janitor level, working their way up. They're the CEO. They know everyone. They know all the roles. They know all the activities. Like, gosh, like you won't be able to take anything from that guy. And they sort of also put it in context where a lot of problems in politics is that you get these people that don't have this homegrown understanding, and they all just come in from the side.
Yes.
And make poor decisions, I guess.
Yeah. And sorry.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to hook anything valuable?
Don't look down at this table. I had a mate in, I think, last week, and he had brought his dog in here, and then the dog was coming under the table to give me, like, you just come and give me some affection, and I was just thinking, I was just waiting for everything to like turn off and shut down.
Just for that
Yeah, but it was all right. We made it. Yeah. I wanted to ask you before, Holly.
Yeah.
How do you manage your time now? Do you time chunk like once upon a time I used to have lots of brands. I would class myself pretty entrepreneurial. I used to spread myself across lots of different brands. And I think ultimately when I had a family, I started to just consolidate that into one brand, which is Bleo. And that still offers me so much diversity, like what we mentioned before, right? There's so many different projects, places and people that you meet inside of that. But how do you, with these two different brands, like what's a rule or what's a principle? Like how do you do it? Do you just wake up and wing it every day, or do you have a bit of a structure?
Look, I think I have my sort of periods where I'm like, okay, I'm doing content, batch filming, 5-6 videos to upload. And then, for Match Smith, I have very specific kind of ways I'm working with my clients. And that, I know, the delivery windows and when I'll return a service back to them, or if they're on, a subscription kind of model with me, level 3, I'm checking in with them, X amount of times a week, or fortnightly and every day, kind of monitoring those kind of things. And, for Touchy Skin, it really is just about that daily, social presence, and outreach, and just trying to, have X amount of kind of wins, even if that's like, solving a product kind of, issue, or researching where I'm going to get the next round of packaging from, that kind of thing. Just feeling like I'm always throwing the ball back to someone else rather than, I never like things waiting on a response from me. So whether it's a new client or whatever, I always want to get that back to them very, very quickly. So I'm that kind of person who, and nothing against people who are like, I only reply to emails at this time, but I'm the kind of person who, if an email can be done in 2 minutes, get it done and send it off. Yeah. That's my approach to things. So I don't sort of say, this time to this time, I'd only do this. My phone is off. If a call comes in and it's about something exciting, I'll take that.
Yeah.
you know, which again, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but that works for me because I truly am good at multitasking. And I think that's why, and women generally are quite good at multitasking. And so maybe that's why that style of work suits me versus someone else who would find that really overwhelming and not getting stuff done. But I kind of enjoy that, you know, a few different tabs open, jump from here to here.
And do you like the startup phase? Like will you start another brand? Like,
probably.
You probably will.
Yeah.
Like, and do you love that? Do you just love, like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's that concept, the conceptual stage, like to push through that from, you know, it's so exciting to brainstorm about an idea and think of what could that brand name be? What could the logo be? What could it represent? And then obviously you get to the point where, okay, we have to actually have something for people to buy or a service or whatever that looks like. But yeah, there's more ideas within the sort of health space that I'm looking into with some other business partners in different areas. So the good thing about Matchsmith is I've got my systems set up there, and I have my client base kind of running.
Yeah.
So now it's really about just growing Touchy Skin, but with sustainable growth as well. Like, you know, that people are like, it's great to go viral, and of course I would love it, you know, if someone picked up that product, but the reality is that puts a lot of pressure on you as a brand now to deliver very, very fast as well. Yeah. So I'm kind of just, honestly growth mindsetting it, just keep learning and keep seeing, and because maybe fail fast will end up being the answer for me as well. And I stay open to those things because I never want it to be that my ego is getting in the way of something that is saying, hey, this isn't working. So don't keep putting your time here and pivot to something else. Yeah.
So when will you know, like, do you just wait for the feeling of, maybe this isn't working, I'm going to go here? Or like,
I feel like because I'm seeing sales and I'm seeing that sort of, you know, consistent, this is moving in that upward direction. It's also just about being really realistic with this industry, and that skincare is such a long game and it's such a long play that this may be something I have humming while other things are going. Yeah. Because some things can escalate a lot faster than skincare does. Yeah. And to expect without, you know, massive advertising budgets for me to just be like solely doing that would be unrealistic. So I'm sort of just thinking, how can I get it systemized so that these things are humming along? Yeah. And that I do have them kind of feeding into the one life.
I think too, it'll, like, I don't know, the way I look at like a product, it is a long-term thing, right? Because I think, as you said before, like, you've got integrity with the product, you use it, and if it's something that you use and value, and it's something that you will keep using, and you're literally just extending it past yourself onto your friends and your family, and then in time it'll just grow and grow and grow. I feel like if you sort of like jump on that hot thing and it blows up, I don't know, like, how long is that going to last for? Like, what's the trend? Like, what's, you know, when's that going to...
and people, you know, the consumer is pushing back against, I guess, what you would call like, there's, I forget the brand, but there's an Australian skincare brand that's run by what you would call kind of like tech bros. Right. So these are guys who have no skincare background. They have no real interest in skincare or experience or any history that would suggest, but they get in and they put together their pink packaging and they're like, this clay mask, blah, 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 and end up on the Daily Mail, which is great. You know, I'm happy for them, but it's just those kind of things where consumers are saying, I'd rather buy from someone who has a little bit more brand integrity rather than just slapping some pink clay masks together and saying, you know, the viral skin, blah, 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 that transforms this. Because there's skincare, there's so much misinformation and it's really harmful for the consumer because we take those things we see. That's why, you know, even celebrity skincare brands like Rhode, which is Hailey Bieber's skincare brand, I think she did a fantastic job of showing herself using every single product in the lead up to launching the brand. And she's since sold that for, you know, billions to e.l.f. or something like that. But it was because it doesn't feel like she's just slapped her name onto a product. It's like she is the queen of get ready with me. We want to see how she's using her makeup and her skincare in her real life. And so many celebrities will just be like, whatever. Like, we've seen Lindsay Lohan go and get a facelift now, and she's no doubt denying that because she's going to come out with some anti-aging line. But the realities of what topical skincare can do versus surgical versus injectables, all that kind of thing. So even for me, avoiding like terms like miracle or, you know, fixes, or like, I just think we're sold these things and it's really unfair.
I heard one this morning, we had a laugh about it. Oh, what was it? ceremonial grade.
Ceremonial grade, like matcha or something. Yeah, or cacao.
I was like, first it's natural, then it's bloody organic, and now it's ceremonial
Yeah,
grade.
the next thing will be ceremonial grade skincare.
Oh,
I'm sure of it, you know.
I was like, that's a good one. I like that.
So I'm always trying to champion skinimalism, you know, is that word.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, not my original, but
Yeah,
that to me is kind of in a nutshell. And I think part of it is saying, yeah, I want you to buy a product because I'm selling it, but buy what you need for your skin and consume wisely and don't overconsume and don't have bottles of product just expiring. You know, I'd rather people say, no, I don't need this isn't for me, than just clog themselves up with more stuff and more confusion and more noise in their skincare routine. So I think, and I've always said that even to Ben, you know, when we've been talking about it, which is why it took such a long time to even launch a product, is because I knew it had to have such integrity and it needed to be something real, because I've loved skincare since I've been a teenager, and I started out with like that 3-step Clinique. You know, you probably remember you'd see the Clinique. Doctors in their white jackets would sell you the 3-step method, and it'd be like, oh, a cleanser and a really alcohol-based toner, and your skin would be kind of red afterwards, and you'd be like, but this is what it's meant to do. And then eventually, you know, you transition into understanding ingredients and what that actually does for your skin. And so now consumers are looking at ingredient lists. They can go online and research everything for themselves, and they can also even see what the raw ingredient cost of something is versus the markup. So I think a lot of that demystifying is really important, just not to add buzz around something that actually has no scientific backing that it can help your skin.
I wonder if, like, because there definitely is the boom of like the e-commerce space where, you know, everyone has a website and a brand type thing, right? And well, it's what I notice, and I do look for the story behind it, or I look for the authenticity, I look for the integrity, and which I think takes time in growing and building. And I wonder if that's the whole market though. Like, I wonder if there is a market that's like, yeah, cool, I'll buy it, like, and just
totally
have a crack.
The impulse.
Were you always entrepreneurial like this?
I think.
Like, are any of your friends like, shit, Holly, I can't believe you're doing this. Like, I never would have expected this.
Well, no one thinks that, but a lot of people will verbalize to me that they're like, I can't believe all the stuff you do. And that's not even me like patting myself on the back, because there are things I take on that I don't necessarily need to. But, you know, that's why I like being a journalist for Get It magazine, which is a Gold Coast magazine here, and I keep that going. You know, it's like, I don't like to let my connections go, because I'm always so interested in like what's going on. And I truly think that whole saying of like, your net worth is your network is huge. And so that's why I do find it, I want to keep these lines of communication open. It's why I have such a great relationship with all of my former employers, because, you know, I still talk to them to this day and watch what they're doing. I just think sometimes these things can come around and turn into something later on that you're like, actually, so-and-so is working here, and this would be the perfect time for you guys to have a conversation. So, you know, even that side of soft skills in learning how to transition out of organizations and keep that good feeling and good blood is very important, because I think some people leave businesses and they're just like, I'm done with that, close that chapter completely. Whereas I really see it as a much more kind of a living organism, is the career from start to finish.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Shed some more light on that then. So, I agree with you, but I haven't really been employed. I think I have been employed once before, but so talk about that. So, and ultimately what you're saying is you really don't know what could happen tomorrow. You don't know what call you could get or what opportunity could come. So like, and probably that comes back to like your personal brand. Like not just online, but really how you're perceived wherever you are. The integrity that you have with yourself. I just think, you know, a big part of what we did at HPC Global was move into the space of transitioning from workplaces. And what we know is that when people leave an organization, a huge part of their identity goes with it. And people get really down when they lose their job or they're made redundant or whatever happens. You know, even if they haven't lost their job, I've seen people who have just won awards be let go because of restructuring. And I think, you know, not necessarily seeing yourself just as an employee, but thinking about what do I bring to every single role is so important. So you're seeing yourself as the asset, as the brand, as the soft skills, as the knowledge. What can you bring to this company? And I think Gary Vee is a big advocate for it, but adding value before you ask for something. So long before I got into paid editorial writing, I was like, who can I write for free? Who will give me a go? And that's
not everyone can afford to just intern and do those freebie things, but if you can, it's so much nicer to reach out to companies. So Ben and I were in Japan recently, and there's a robotics company called Yukai Engineering based in Shinjuku. And they're coming out with, they have all these really cute, like well-being, wellness kind of robots that they're working on. And they have one, you've probably seen the Labubu trend.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh my God.
People love these things, right?
Trends.
Little blind boxes.
Yeah.
I think it's like worth $1.6 billion. I mean, it's something crazy, the other valuation for these toys. Anyway, they came out with at the CES, which is one of those big tech expos, last year with this little robot called Marumi,
Yes.
which is just like a little sloth that attaches to your bag. And I saw the clips and it had gone viral, you know, for a short time. There was this real buzz. It's coming out. It's going to be crowdfunded. And I just thought, this feels like the next thing.
Right.
And so I reached out to them ahead of our Japan trip and said, I'd love to support. I'm a model, I have got that experience. Can we do a shoot? How can we support? And then a month later, like, yeah, we got our photographer sorted, come to the office, meet the team, meet Marumi and do that. And now those are kind of coming out now. So I don't know what's going to come of that, but it's just the ask and to say, hey, we're actually going to be there. We think you're doing something great. And so part of it is actually just saying, why don't I just email these people? Why don't I
Introduce yourself.
It's that silly line that Kris Kardashian says, like, why don't you just like call Taylor up, like Taylor Swift, which Kim Kardashian could do, but that's become the meme of like what our mums say when we're trying to get jobs. It's like, why don't you just email the CEO?
Why don't you just call them?
Yeah. But if they're a company that's growing, I mean, you can imagine when you were in your early phase, if someone emailed you like, I love what you're doing. Can I just come and intern? How can I support? You know, these things. If I got an email like that, I would be like, damn, this is incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm always so honored if anyone wants to make like a UGC video of Touchy Skin. And I've got people who are just creating content just because they like me and like the product.
Yeah.
And so, that is it. Every day I'm like, who knows what's going to come of this day? But if you feel that pull towards something, make an outreach, make an offering and add value before you say, what can you do for me? Or how can we work together commercially?
Yeah, that's even on our radar at the moment. It's like, gosh, we just need to do more of that. Like we have just such an amazing team, operation, brand, like portfolio. It's like, just reach out to more people and just introduce yourselves, right? And it's so simple and something you just chuck in the back and you just forget about it.
I think that's how life becomes, an adventure. And like you said, there are different reasons why you have to focus. You have family and you have a team. And I'm in a very different position where I can be super agile and pivot, as a one-woman show effectively at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's why it's like just be so open to it's always Ben, because he has all these great books. But it's the Surrender Project. I think it's Michael Singer.
Oh, okay.
And his whole thing is, if the energy is moving, go with where it's going. So if someone's not getting back to you and they're not getting back to you, say, okay, I'm just going to pause that. Where are things looking strong? And let me keep pulling towards this. Go with the tide.
Yeah.
And I think if you keep doing that, things start to build and gradually you're like, all these things are now at a head of where I can sort of pick and choose what I want to do. That's what I believe.
I believe too.
And genuinely seems to happen that way.
Flow.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. Cool. What else, Holly?
We've covered a lot.
We did.
I
got a question.
Yeah.
You're getting married at the end of this year.
Yeah, sooner than the end of this year.
Yeah. How's that all? Are you planning this, or you just
I
kicked
am.
it on? You're planning it.
Well, I mean, because the Intercontinental just kind of does it. There's only so much you need to plan.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's smart. Yeah.
But no, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, even with relationships, it's a different thing when you've been with someone for almost 8 years.
Yeah.
I think marriage changes things, but I also, we know each other so well at this point.
Yeah.
So I think it's just doing something to celebrate that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not someone, despite being here on this podcast, I'm not someone who's like a big kind of look at me person. So I never had like a big 30th. I didn't have I don't have big parties.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah. No, you know what I mean? Like I'm not that kind of person. So even this is a bit of a shift, because I think you got to create the events sometimes for people to come together and celebrate and do something fun. You have to actually bring people and do it. Otherwise it doesn't happen.
A massive
And weddings
believer.
are a great place to have people come together from all ends of the world.
Weddings are amazing. Like, not like they just don't happen, I think, as much as probably they used to back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
and they are. They're just a beautiful celebration. It's people come together, we celebrate, and it's simple little things like that and traditions, celebrations. I was talking with my father-in-law about this, how I feel like when my wife and I got together and we'd go over to Vanuatu, there was so much. There was celebration, but more just family come together, eat together. There was celebration, like there were, but I feel like, I don't know if our generation is just not sort of as traditional maybe, and in honouring these things that are like celebratory and coming together, and they're just so much fun, and they create this bond of, and it's amazing. So I'm stoked for you guys.
We spoke about it, I think, the other day or a week or so ago about the commercialization of weddings as well, and the level of like the influencer influence on what weddings need to be now. And so I think that's a whole other kettle of fish, but it's very interesting to see people just effectively, like, I even looked back at some I love like old 2000s shows, like Girls Next Door, the Girls of Playboy Match, and like that. That
Entourage guy.
Myself. But those are some peak shows at that time. Yeah. But you look back and you're like, gosh, some of these, or the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was kind of kicking off around that 2010 time. Yeah. And I'd look at their weddings and I was like, they're glamorous, but they still are just, the bridesmaids are just sitting around in their jammies getting their makeup done, whereas now it's like bridal, suite, shoot, matching juicy coutures, the gifting, the bachelorette weekend, the follow-up party, and then the recovery party, and then it's become like,
that's
for your average person, weddings, like that level of expectation of what people are trying to get out of it, even content-wise. Yeah, it's like for some influencers, I know that their wedding is hopefully something they want to do, but it's about content. Yeah,
it's like, wait, stop. Just do that again, guys. Like,
it actually is that they're like, okay, because I've got the bridal, the makeup, the outfits, the dresses, that can be 6 months of content for me. And it's great content. People love it, but it's like, that at some point it feels like they're also just like ticking the boxes of like what people want to see.
It's a breath of fresh air, I think, like when people still just do it just for, for the love of, what the marriage is. Like, it's people coming together, your friends and family witnessing the oath that you make to each other in your relationship. That's still it's a beautiful thing. I had some good, a childhood friend of mine just do that actually. They just got a place in northern New South Wales, like a house, and close friends and family. And it's so good. It's so nice that, but we don't do it enough. I love weddings.
I'm so excited. Yeah, you're the wedding guy, because I remember like one of my earliest experiences was your vow renewal.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I remember you meticulously organised this, and I think you tried so hard to keep it under wraps.
It worked.
It did all go through. Okay,
She had no idea. She had no idea. Yeah, no, that was good. That worked. That
was so fun.
That spawned from me and Ben having too many beers in Alice Springs at the casino.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where that started.
I didn't even connect the dots.
No, that's where that started. Well, we were... How did it start? But that's where it started. And then I just have this thing in my head, I think, when I ponder an idea and I can feel it building, this thing in me is like, you have to do that now. And I'm just like... And I was almost like, oh, shit, that's going to be... That's like... I was like...
You really felt pulled towards
I was like, that's going to be so hard to do. And I was like, it's going to be amazing. Like, the dialogue in my head at that time... when we're just supposed to be having beers, but that came together really well. And I actually think too, I don't know if Ben's actually told you this, but I think there was a bet, not that we'll go through with it, but that I was going to be the celebrant at your wedding.
I think you'd make a great celebrant. I'm all for it. Like.
No.
But I think you'll have other things you'll be doing.
Oh, yeah. No, that's right. I'll be under the influence. I'm sure of it. Yeah, and that won't be legal. Yeah, but no, that definitely came up in the conversation. Yeah, Ben probably skipped telling you that one. But
I think you're like you love, and you're a great advocate for... Yeah, you're the wedding guy. I mean, maybe I'm always thinking of like what other people's careers. So I look at you and I see obviously your leadership in Bleo, but I'm like, I could absolutely see you like moving into that relationship space.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, I do. I would really love to, as I find my sort of stride with this and get more comfortable too. Like, this whole thing with interviewing people, even learning how to speak and hold a conversation, ask the right questions, and everything, right? And even too, like you can hear freaking, I think Meg in the background now, right? So it's there is this level of professionalism that I feel like I'm trying to get to, but I would love to have like relationship counselors and those types of people on here as well, because I think it's fascinating. I think it can be challenging, right? Relationships, and really trying to understand it and figure it out. And I think there's so much value in skills in that type of work. So eventually, one day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you do a lot of personal development, I think it absolutely helps your dating life, you know, unless you're the guy on dates who like just spouts Gary Vee stuff, you know, one way.
Yeah.
But I think if you're curious to know about yourself and how you communicate, you know, that's what's interesting about, you know, going into your 30s, I think, is you start seeing like patterns really clearly of like, you know, how you thought about things when you were in your 20s versus now, and just realizing how different communication styles or conflict or whatever it is are like so ingrained in you historically from, you know, how you grew up, what your place in the family was. So the eldest daughter versus the, you know, the younger brother is going to have a completely different outlook on all that stuff. And then, you know, you take that into your relationships. So I think it's so important to want to know and be curious. I think it's very hard if you're not honest with yourself about, you know, the way you work is going to be similar to a way you engage in relationships. And
you're absolutely right. I feel like that's almost any journey, I think, that goes down the personal development. You get through all of like the skill set, and then I do feel like there's this foundational piece where you arrive at your upbringing and what that was like, and your understanding then of why you are a lot of the way you are based on that, and which is obviously quite healing and empowering. And it's amazing. And I think probably there is more awareness, I think, around it now. Just I do feel like that level of consciousness with people and self-development things, people are more aware of it today. But it's so fascinating still. Like I find it so fascinating. And I think, gosh, excuse me.
In demand.
I can't believe.
No, it's all good. It's very authentic.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't believe that. Well, no, what I was going to say is that being in a relationship, it's ever evolving.
Yeah.
Like you constantly, we don't even, you on a day-to-day, you're learning about who you are every day, let alone your partner.
Yeah.
And so that's just the journey that you go through together, and you constantly keep unveiling this shit.
Yeah.
And they're your mirror that helps you do that, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. It's so, I guess, that fascination that we'll dig into a bit further with relationships.
I could see that being your next definitely a chapter for you in your life, to kind of consolidate all those learnings and having a great happy relationship. You know, it's not an easy thing. It's actually not hard in the sense that you and Leonie are so compatible. So it's like, I'm sure it's in a way the easiest thing to do is to love each other, but it's also like you've known each other for a long time and you've evolved side by side.
It's not easy. Like that's definitely not easy. Far out. Like, and she'll say the same thing. Like it's work. Like it's like anything, right? Like we've been together for like 20 odd years, but it's definitely work. You got to work at it, but it is amazing. It's a beautiful thing. So
and on that note, staying humble about your relationship is so important. Like Ben and I joked about it. I think it was like we've been together for 6 months, and we're actually in Queensland for a little holiday. And he was like, 6 months. Pretty exciting number. Yeah. And we both kind of agreed. And it's like, we don't want to be those people that are like, well, we've been together for the people that become the gurus. And the example we always fall back on is like the Heidi Klum and Seal. You know, they were like the dream couple and always giving people advice about how magical and how amazing they were. And then the next minute it's like,
it's done.
Yeah, we're over and we don't like each other and we never did. Kind of.
So
I think it's like part of that is also like, even with the guru world, it's like people will have like a good relationship for 6 months and they'll be online talking about how they met their dream person and manifested it, and then 6 months later they'll be separated from that person. And it's not to say that you shouldn't be like public about those kind of things, but I think there's also a risk about being like too public.
I agree.
About intimate, you know, and that's part of it, is like we want to talk to our friends about everything, but it's like some people, you know, publicize so much about their relationships online that it's like, I don't think it's helpful all the time.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. Like Joe Rogan, obviously I watch and follow him, and he doesn't believe in talking about any of his personal life like that, or his relationships.
It's interesting.
Like he just that's where he draws the line.
Yeah.
And I think I understand it. Like even me talking now and saying like Leonie's name, like I'm like, oh, but not everyone knows her, so maybe I should start saying my wife. And how much do I talk about her? How much do I talk about my kids? And it's interesting, but it's interesting to know someone on that level. I just draw a line, and that's it. And which is interesting. But Holly, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for the chat.
Did you enjoy this?
Yeah, it was great. I know it was very tangential on my part, which I think is, you know, testament to that portfolio career, is where my mind's always kind of thinking of a million things at once. But yeah, it was nice to touch on a few different topics with you today. Definitely. What can you leave us with? What is your, like, do you have a quote, or do you like have a message that if this, what would you actually, what about your younger self? What advice after this journey that you've been on, and we may have covered it, may not have, but what advice would you go back and give to your younger self? Oh gosh, my younger self would just be probably, anyone telling you anything negative is lying, and don't listen to them. You know what I mean? Like, I actually think that a lot of the time in my younger years, especially teen years, I absorbed so much of like criticism and took that on very personally. And now that just doesn't faze me in the same way. And I would love to go back, but I think it's all part of the learning. But truly, when I was younger, I think, you know, you look at a photo of yourself and you're like, damn, you know, you should have been super ultra confident, but you weren't. And so I think that confidence for me came later in life, but I wish I could have injected some of that into myself when I was a teen, you know, late teens. I wish I could, you know, those fantasies of like, I'd love to go back and do high school again, or just do these few things again. But I know that it's just like the butterfly effect. This all needed to happen for that to come. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just, it's very easy when you're younger to, you know, look to your figures in life that are around you and believe everything that they say. And it's not that they're always wrong, but, you know, parents, for instance, are coming from a position of like fear and anxiety. So they don't always look at you and think, you know, with an expansive kind of mind, what you want to go. Their job is to protect you. But I think, yeah, just not getting bogged down in anything too much that may have happened to you when you were younger, or, you know, how you saw yourself when you were younger, and just saying, hey, at some point I just have to shed that and let that go. And that's where I think, you know, it's the whole not too many gurus, not too many mentors. It's like, find the people whose voices you trust and listen to them when you need it, tap into it when you need to, and otherwise just like, you know, find you know, the direction that you have and go with that. Surrender to that and keep moving forward.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well said. Thanks, Holly.
Thanks, Blake.
All good. Cool. That was cool.
Yeah. Cute.